Good afternoon, Lewis. So I haven't planned this video. I've recorded it once already and it didn't go very well. I sort of rambled around a lot of issues and I didn't really put together a cohesive point. I'm hoping that this time, while doing it extemporaneously again, things will go differently. Also, if I may address the loyal subscribers of the channel for just one moment, we're dialing things back a little bit because Lewis is busy. We will probably also be dialing things back again in a couple of months because I will return to being busy. Who knows? The future is an uncertain place, obviously. But anyway, you said you wanted to talk about bullying a little bit, so I'm going to just relay some of my experiences of bullying. And before I get going on the nitty-gritty, I would just like to state that what I suffered is nowhere close to things that other people have suffered. And I know that like ranking suffering is a thing that you shouldn't do because it's kind of gross and weird, but at the same time, I was never bullied physically, I was never punched, kicked. I've been in a couple of fights, but that was like a two-sided thing. I was trying to punch them while they were trying to punch me. I've never been in a situation where someone menaces me daily and like punches me and kicks me and puts me in bins and rolls me down hills or whatever horrible things happen. No one laid a finger on me in school. And whatever, psychological bullying is its own thing, but I feel that the situation that I endured could have been a lot worse because I had a lot of good people around me and I didn't have to see these people all that often. Like, I was in class with a couple of them, but most of the time I wasn't near them and they wouldn't say anything to me, and you know, if they did, like, the teacher would tell them off for it. And I had places that I could go to avoid them at lunchtime, like a very big school, lots of space. They would always be off playing some sport or other and I would be hiding in the library or whatever. Like, point is, I was pretty much fine. It was just a little bit kind of upsetting a lot of the time. A little bit upsetting a lot of the time. It's like, yeah, whatever. So when I was in school, I identified as gay, which obviously I do not anymore because I've made reference to having a girlfriend, whatever, things changed. But at the time, that was where I was, and I was out by about year 9, which I think in terms of what you will understand, I was 14. 14, which, yeah, I don't know what grade that is, but that was how old I was. So I alluded to this. Pretty much all the bullying that I received was either directed at me in a way that I could tell it was obviously about the way I identified, or it was a direct result of the fact that I had come out and some people disagree with that. Like, not everything everyone said to me was always like, you fucking homo or whatever, but it was always the same people, and they would sort of, you know, they pepper them in. Sometimes it would just be like, oh, fuck you, Lewis, or whatever it was they said. It's been a long time, I don't really remember. But they would sprinkle in the homophobic ones, so I was like, okay, this is obviously where this is coming from, because it didn't happen before on this kind of scale. I had people who didn't like me that much, but everyone does, right? But like, there was a ramp up is what I'm saying. After I'd come out, there was a definite change. Anyway, so my beef with the advice, be yourself. If I had not come out of the closet, everybody in school wouldn't have known. Like, I could have told some of my friends, like my friends pretty much already knew by the time, like everyone else, they were all clued in a couple of months before it all, you know, told everyone else. If I had never told everyone else, I wouldn't have received the amount of bullying that I did. Plain and simple. That's just like cause and effect. Well, you know, whatever. I can see the correlation and I can infer a causation. So sometimes it helps to not antagonize people who are just gonna be bad people. And it's horrible. It's horrible and shitty that, like, sometimes you just have to not be yourself to avoid the ire of other people. It's tough because I don't want to sound like I'm defending the people who bully other people for anything, but sometimes they're just gonna be horrible people, and schools have just proven they are incapable of dealing with this stuff. My school was not super great at dealing with it when it happened. It's like, well, you know, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Well, maybe you deserve it for being gay. Maybe you deserve it for being gay. I don't know. I went to a very old-fashioned school. So yeah, I don't want to be like echoing the horrible things that my school said about bullying, but like sometimes you've just gotta keep your head down and just keep out of the way of horrible people. And it sucks, but that's the way it is. In spirit, I believe, like my ideology is, yeah, be yourself, but like in practical terms, sometimes you've just gotta get out of school. Like, it's just, sometimes it's a bad place, and sometimes you just have to get out of there and keep your head down and just stay out of the way of the horrible people who aren't gonna be stopped, because it's very, very difficult to police this sort of thing. Nah, I don't know. I don't have I don't have anything specifically more to say about this. Just, like, I don't want anyone to come away from this video feeling particularly bad for me. Like, I've had worse things happen to me at the hands of worse people. Like, if you want to feel bad for me, I've got some stories that you should listen to, and then you can feel bad for me for those things. Like, the bullying was kind of it wasn't great, but it was mostly avoidable, and I didn't carry it with me, you know, I didn't go home with it. So, whatever. Lewis, I would love to know if any of this made any sense whatsoever, and I will see you on Friday.